Ah, looks like we found another one, bud.
Be ready to soar into a whole new adventure because How to Train Your Dragon is getting the live-action treatment in 2025. Yep, you heard it right. Toothless and the gang are back, and this time, they're hitting the big screen in a whole new way. The mastermind behind the original animated trilogy, DeBlois, is returning to helm the live-action remake. He's not just writing the script and directing, but also producing the movie. Talk about keeping it in the family, right? Now, casting is already underway for this epic flick, but we're still waiting on those official announcements. For those who need a refresher, the How to Train Your Dragon saga kicked off back in 2010, introducing us to Hiccup, the lovable Viking with a heart of gold, but not much muscle to back it up. But hey, he's got brains and heart, and that's what counts. The trilogy followed his journey as he befriends a dragon named Toothless, changing the course of history and forging an unbreakable bond along the way. And let's not forget about the insane success of these movies. DreamWorks hit it out of the park, raking in nearly $2 billion worldwide across all 3 films. Plus, they've spawned all sorts of spin-offs, including TV shows set in the present day, thousands of years after the original movie. So mark your calendars for March 14th, 2025, folks. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. You know what would be fun? How to Train Your Dragon 4. So, get this. One Reddit user came up with this cool idea. Picture this. A 4th movie where those Burke riders and their dragons don't even cross paths. It's like during that whole time gap when Burke splits from dragons and they're just doing their own thing. They've got everything sorted out, like cool defenses and neat tricks for daily life, but all for us humans, no dragons involved. How interesting is that? We could have some seriously awesome stuff going on, like Valka stepping into Gothi's shoes, and the gang growing up and filling roles like they did in RTTE. Picture this. Snotlout. Not all full of himself, but actually kicking butt as their second-best warrior and doing some blacksmithing on the side. Fishlegs could totally be a teacher, running his own school and sharing his dragon knowledge. And how about the twins? They could be these quirky detectives, surprisingly good at solving mysteries. Then there's Astrid, leading the defense like a boss, and obviously Hiccup rocking the chief title. Wouldn't that be something? Hiccup's knee-deep in his chief duties when he receives a stack of letters from these smaller tribes. You know, the ones who were under those overlords in the 3rd movie. Well, turns out they're cool with dragons now and they're keen on forming an alliance. Keep that in mind, it's going to be important later. Now, on to the bad guys. Think European settlers, maybe British or French, but with a whole different vibe. They start poking their noses into Burke in the first act. But here's the twist. They're riding dragons themselves. Crazy, right? But hold up. They're not treating these magnificent creatures as equals. Nope. They're treating them like pets and weapons, forcing them into battles and such. These dragons, poor things, they've been raised from day one to be nothing more than loyal servants to these settlers. At first, Hiccup might not catch on during their initial meeting, but trust me, he'll see their true colors soon enough. So, the settlers start their attack on Burke, aiming to take control by force, but then something clicks for Hiccup. He notices that these guys are riding dragons in a pretty normal, non-villainous way. Picture this. Amidst the chaos of battle, there's a moment where a downed dragon is shielded by its rider, showing a bond beyond mere domination. That's when Hiccup decides to halt the skirmish and calls for a chat with their leader. Hiccup and Snotlout hop on one of their ships because Astrid's got to stay back and keep Burke safe. They sit down with the leader, and here's the kicker. They find out that these settlers actually learned to ride dragons from a Viking tribe. Their goal? To spread acceptance for these incredible creatures. Turns out they've been swooping into dragon-hating villages, turning them around into places that welcome dragons, just like those letters Hiccup received. It's a whole new twist. right there in the middle of the action. They explained that they no longer possessed dragons because they had become overly dependent on them. Consequently, they made the decision to allow the dragons to live independently. Ideas for Act 2 could include: Number 1. Hiccup's journey to the Viking tribes. Hiccup travels to various Viking tribes that have been in contact with him, only to discover that the settlers have coerced them into militarization. The settlers have turned these tribes into military outposts, diverting resources towards their battle dragons. The tribes are resentful but feel powerless to resist, which fuels their growing animosity towards dragons. Hearing of Burke's decision to let go of their dragons, the tribes reach out to Hiccup for help. Number 2. Toothless's defensive actions. Toothless becomes defensive upon witnessing the settlers' incursion near the hidden world. He alerts the dragons within the hidden world, preparing them for potential conflict. When the settlers attempt to explore the hidden world, they are met with fierce resistance from hundreds of dragons. Though they manage to seize some dragon eggs, they are ultimately repelled by Toothless and his allies. In summary, these are initial concepts for Act 2 of a potential fourth movie. The storyline explores themes of militarization, resistance, and the ongoing conflict between settlers and dragons. Please note that these ideas are just figments of imagination by a fan, may require further development to fully flesh out the narrative. Here's an alternate storyline proposed by another Redditor. About a year after the events of How to Train Your Dragon 3, the residents of Berk are still adjusting to life without dragons and have yet to fortify their defenses. Meanwhile, a mysterious steampunk ruler, intrigued by New Berk's strategic location, begins to view it as a valuable asset. Recognizing that attacking while dragons were present would be futile, the ruler bides his time, awaiting the dragon's absence as an opportunity. The ruler, accompanied by his army aboard a massive steampunk dirigible, launches an assault on New Berk. Managing to infiltrate the island, they capture Hiccup, forcing the remaining residents to comply with their demands. However, a small group consisting of Astrid, Valka, Eret, Snotlout, Fishlegs, Gobber, and the twins manages to escape on a smaller airship. Utilizing terror mail to communicate with Hiccup in secrecy, they coordinate a plan to free him and reclaim New Berk. After a climactic battle, they emerge victorious and restore peace to the island. As the movie concludes, they bid farewell to their dragon allies and allies alike, embarking on the journey to rebuild their home once more. Well, that's it for today. For now, make sure that you like our video. Please share your views in the comment section with us. Subscribe to the channel to get updated, and do not forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching the video. See you at the next one.